Am I right? And please, all you people, unmute your mic. All you please unmute your mic. Now, this is life cycle stage 2. This is the name of your block 4, life cycle stage 2. And life cycle stage 2, that means stage 1 was about before your childhood, before your infancy period, and stage 2 start from on your schooling onwards almost. The children is to go for school. Thereafter, there are stage 2 start. So in that one, lot of informations are to be shared. Just a minute. About stage 2. Now, if you people have studied this stage 2, because all you have the study material with you, can it be an interactive session? Stage 2, I'm asking, if you people have studied this one, life cycle stage 2, can it be an interactive session?
Yes, sir. Good morning. You can. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Interactive session, I mean to say, sir, with due permission, Tejpal ji,
Sir.
with due permission, let me see, आज मैं देखना चाह रहा हूँ कि कितने पढ़ के आए हैं, नहीं पढ़ के आए हैं, क्या इनके क्या क्या क्वेश्चंस हैं स्टेज 2 में से थोड़ा सा पोर्शन अगर हमें इंटरेक्टिव रख दें इसके बीच में, या टोटल लेक्चर ही चलता है इसमें?
नहीं, इंटरेक्टिव रखे तो अच्छा रहेगा।
वो दैट्स व्हाई मैं बोला इनको इंटरेक्टिव आप इस स्टेज 2 के बारे में।
जी कंटिन्यू सर।
तो स्टेज 2 के बारे में सिर्फ जो बोलेगा वो अपना माइक ऑन करेगा, उसके बाद माइक अनम्यूट कर देगा, बाकी सबके माइक अनम्यूट रहेंगे। डियर लिसनर, जो बोलेगा, जिसकी जिसने जो स्टार्ट करना है स्टेज 2, लाइफ साइकिल स्टेज 2 एंड पेपर 1 मॉड्यूल 4, anyone would like to start to ask the questions? Please, I'm waiting anyone to start the questions. Anyone? No question?
No, sir. I don't have any question.
You people have not studied the stage 2, life cycle stage 2, not studied yet.
Sir, I have studied it, but I don't really have any questions related to it.
So you don't have any problem?
No.
You people are 19 almost. Lavisha ji, you people are Lavisha Dalal ji, you people are 19 almost, and 19, they don't have any problem.
I'm sorry, sir. Can you repeat?
You people are 19 in numbers online, who
Okay.
join the class, and 19 don't have any problem. 19 don't have studied any topic from life cycle stage 2.
Sir,
Yes.
I have little bit doubts if you can discuss about Freud's psychoanalytic theories. In that portion, I started studies, and there are so many stages and things are there, like repressions.
You know, Freud
And all.
psychoanalytic stages, basically, there are 3 different meaning of Freud psychoanalytic theory, as a theory, as a school, and as a therapy. There are different 3 meaning of psychoanalytic. As a theory, psychoanalysis is a theory, psychodynamic is a psychotherapy, and school of psychology. Freud has established the group of psychology people who were in favor of psychoanalysis when he pioneered this concept. So psychoanalysis is a group of psychology. Then psychoanalytic or psychodynamic is a therapy, and psychoanalytic psychoanalysis is a school of psychology. So Sigmund Freud has discussed about the development of personality through 6 stages. That is psychosexual stages of development. And according to the attainment of age, these particular stage of psychosexual development Freud has discussed, automatically we enter to the next stage according to our age. We grow and we enter to the next stage. So you take the example of oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital. These are the stages given by Freud about psychosexual stages. And every stages have a respective level of development and the growth. And every stage is having its own level of functioning, learning, and attainment of maturation. So oral is divided into two parts: oral sucking and oral biting. Right? So Sigmund Freud, after these stages, has spoken about ego, superego, then spoken about conscious, subconscious, unconscious mind, right? And then he has spoken about the defense mechanism. Defense mechanisms, lot of defense. Why we do use the defense mechanisms? Because we would like to. This is the actual name of defense mechanism is ego defense mechanism. We would like to protect our ego to damage from the damage of any type. Suppose एक किचन में किसी बच्चे ने गिलास तोड़ दिया, राइट? तो ऑटोमेटिकली बच्चा अपना नाम लेने की वजह दूसरे का नाम लेगा, क्योंकि उसका ईगो हर्ट ना हो, उसको पिटाई ना हो जाए, सबके सामने उसकी इंसल्ट ना हो, उसका ईगो हर्ट हो जाएगा. दिस इज a defense mechanism to protect his ego, right? So you mean to say psychosexual stages of development, then ego, superego, then conscious, subconscious, unconscious, and then the defense mechanism. These are the 4 components given by this your Freud. And if we take it as a psychotherapy, this is particularly for psychotherapy is having rapport formation, then free association, dream analysis. Free association and dream analysis was the basic component of Sigmund Freud for the therapeutic or the counseling purposes. Because free association, until we don't have there will be no open up from the client and counselor. Free association is must. And then dream analysis, suppose a person is unable to explain anything directly, then through dream analysis, we can reach up to the problem of the client. Right? So, life cycle, particularly, एक हमारा series of change होता है, series of stage होता है. Freud has given the 6 stages of life cycle, for example. That means oral, anal, phallic, latency, or genital. Right? So 6 stages. This life cycle change from one stage to another stage. This is a series of stage, series of sequence. And basically the structure of the family change as per the lifestyle. Life cycle, the structure of family change. Okay, anyone, any question, or is it okay? Anyway, let me start my topic. You don't have any question then. So I'm discussing about the life cycle 2. And life cycle is a series of stage, series of change, and a particular family go through a structural family change. Structural family change here means that family is a structure, and within that structure, we have a lot of changes happening throughout our life cycle. And when we have a series of changes, so series of changes happen within the family. So it is a life cycle, but not every family follow the life cycle in order of description, because each family is unique. जो sequential जो changes होता है family में, सभी family में वो बराबर नहीं होता, because every family is unique. and being unique. So, as per the unique parameter of the family, the sequential life cycle changes will take place in the structure of family. लाइफ साइकिल सीक्वेंशियल लाइफ साइकिल चेंजेस मींस आज एक छोटा बड़ा है, कल को बड़ा छोटा छोटा बच्चा है, और छोटा होने के नाते कल स्कूल भी जाएगा, बड़ा होगा, मैरिज होगी, नौकरी करेगा. तो दीज चेंजेस आर इन्फ्लुएंसिंग द फैमिली स्ट्रक्चर.
Sir, I have a sorry to interrupt. I have a kind request to you. Sir, may I request? May I ask, sir? Hello? Am I audible? Hello? Hello, sir. May I audible?
रश्मि जी अभी होल्ड रखें आप. देखिए एक चीज का प्रयास करें, जब सर ने इंटरेक्टिव सेशन शुरू किया था तो उसी टाइम आप जितनी चर्चा कर सकते थे कर सकते थे. जब उन्होंने अपना लेक्चर शुरू कर दिया है तो आप उनको सुनिए, और जब लास्ट में लेक्चर खत्म हो जाएगा तो आप अपने पर्सन को उस टाइम पे रखिए. प्लीज आप इस चीज का ध्यान रखें. जब इंटरेक्टिव
Sorry,
सेशन
sir.
है,
Thank you.
हाँ,
Okay.
जब इंटरेक्टिव सेशन है तब आप चर्चाएं कर सकते हैं, जब कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है उस टाइम पे.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
डॉक्टर साहब रिज्वाइन करेंगे तब बात करेंगे इसमें. थोड़ा सा संयम रखें, अभी डॉक्टर साहब ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं.
Sir, Assi Chandigarh, sir, please tell this information after making the practical file. We need to submit it to you.
अभी आप होल्ड रखें, इस विषय के ऊपर एंड में बात करेंगे. ऋषभ प्लीज अपना माइक अनम्यूट कर लें।
ज्वाइन कर लिया मैंने, फोन आ गया था बीच में इसलिए कट गई।
जी जी।
So now I am online.
जी 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 जी, प्लीज कंटिन्यू ऋषभ।
So I am discussing about the family life cycle, and this has been started. The family life cycle perspective is a tool. The family life cycle perspective is a tool in family diagnosis. Begin with Glick, Duval, and Hill. Glick, Glick, the name of person. Duval, Duval is the name of person, and Hill. Through their efforts, the family diagnosis perspective in life cycle has been started. The main emphasis is on the changing experiences of family over time. According to the time, the family change and the changing experiences are to be interpreted for the diagnosis of this family life cycle. So the practical purpose is to assume that family have a beginning and an end, and between these 2 points, the family goes through a lifespan development in which a number of distinct sequential changes or phases may be changed. So there are 3 stages of family life cycle. So one stage is a beginning, second stage is your end, and in between there are a lot of sequential changes happening within the family. So these are three. This is a continuum of the family's high life cycle, family changes, sequential changes, family life cycle. This is a continuum. In one side we are beginning, and in the other side, extreme at the extreme, both sides we have beginning and end, and in between we have sequential changes happening in our family. And through these sequential changes were happening in our family, we have a lot of informations, lot of development, lot of growth, lot of clash, lot of dispute. In each of these phases or changes, a number of specific development takes place. Maybe it is related to family, related to society. As a families pass through each phase and from one stage to the next stage. So what are the changes happening in family? Automatically we have to pass from one stage to another stage. They will go through a number of normal expected transition as well as occasionally unexpected crisis. So when we are changing the life cycle from sequential changes, there are a lot of transitional changes happen and lot of unexpected transitions in terms of crisis. So it does not mean any family do not have any crisis. It does not mean any family do not have any difficult time. Any family may pass through the sequential changes of good things and the sequential changes of the bad things within the family. Because I told you family life cycle is a continuum. At the both the extreme we are beginning and at the end, and in between we have sequential changes. And sequential changes we have a lot of positive and negative happening within the families. And these sometimes unexpected crises, sometimes unexpected difficult times is to be faced by family, and then they cross it for the next stage, sequential change. These changes during the life cycle provide a perspective that there is a transmission of certain biological components as well as behavioral and social process throughout the cycle. This is a transmission of information through biological, behavioral, and social processes throughout the cycle or life cycle from one generation to the next generation within the family. So this means transmission of biological, behavioral, and social processes from one generation to another generation is another integral part of our life cycle sequential changes. The key point for life cycle concept number one, the key point in life cycle concept number one, it will not be what I am telling you, it will not be available in your study material. So please, whosoever having a pen or copy, please note down. It is not given in your study material provided by GNU. I'm helping you from other resources. So I'm discussing the key points, the major points or the characteristics of the life cycle concept. So number one point, that change over time. This is the one key point of the family life cycle, change over the time. Every family life cycle is having a change after a stipulated time, over the time. A beginning and end. Every life cycle is having a beginning and end. So when we have a life cycle, it's automatic that life cycle begin and does not mean one life cycle remain permanent for in our family. Once we started with the life cycle, it is to be changed. It is to be end. So the third key point of life cycle is the family development with sequential stages or phases. Family is to grow, family is to develop. Within the life cycle changes, the family is to grow with the sequential stages or the phases. This is your another development of life cycle. So the key point I'm discussing, number one, the change over time. This is definite. Second, the beginning and end. Every life cycle is a beginning and there is an end. The third one, family development with sequential stages going on. The fourth, phase specific डेवलपमेंट टास्क. एक स्पेसिफिक डेवलपमेंट का जो स्टेज होगा उस स्टेज से रिलेटेड ही टास्क परफॉर्म किए जाएंगे. दिस इज कॉल्ड फेज स्पेसिफिक डेवलपमेंट टास्क. जो फेज ऑफ चेंज हैपनिंग हो रहा है, वॉट एवर द फेज ऑफ चेंज इज गोइंग ऑन, द टास्क वुड बी रिलेटेड टू दैट ओनली, राइट? So every people, every members of the family, so they are to focus on a specific task related to the phase of change going on in our family, right? Then next, normal transitions and unexpected crisis. This is another key point. Normal transmission hoga, transmission of information, that is a sharing. Normal sharing hoga or unexpected crisis be develop hoga. This is another key point of the family life cycle. Then the next key point of the life cycle, family life cycle, is transmission of biological, behavioral, and social processes. It is definite. It is natural. Within one generation to another generation, we have to transmit biologically, behaviorally, or socially. We have to transmit, right? So these are the key points of family life cycle. And then further, the principle of this development about family life cycle approach is focusing that or mentioning that during each stage as well as during the transition from one stage to another, there will be certain events which can be predicted and which the majority of family will experience. हर एक में कोई ना कोई predictions होगा. We can predict the certain transitional changes within the family, and every family is to experience that transitional changes. For example, marriage is one transitional change. Then the pregnancy is another transitional changes. Then the birth is another transitional changes. Parenthood, beginning school, adolescence, school graduation, leaving for school, starting for job, getting married, going for another family. So these are the transitional changes happening as per each stage of family life cycle. For example, marriage is a first stage of family life cycle. Then after marriage, there is a pregnancy and then there is a birth. This is, I'm telling you about a new family, right? Otherwise, we can discuss about the transitional change from the conception to conceive and then to birth and then the infancy. You can start from there also, right? And then infancy, then the childhood, then teenage, then adolescence, and then the adult young and the elderly people. These are the life cycle changes, transitional changes. And every transitional changes is having a specific task to be performed there, right? So then these are the transitional changes I mentioned about the marriage, then pregnancy, then the birth, then the parenthood, the beginning, school, adolescence, teenage, school graduations, then the living school, colleges, then you joining universities, then going for job and going for the marriage. right? So the family life cycle, I am having a one diagram. Family life cycle, there are two components. Within family, that means the first concept of that is a family formation. Family life cycle, first stage of transitional change is a family formation, then child bearing, then child rearing, child launching, and contracting family. First, we are to form the family, then we are child bearing, then child rearing, and child launching, and child and contracting family. So beyond these changes, these sequential changes or the transitional changes, we have lot of things to discuss about termination of one life cycle or the courtship of another life cycle. Courtship, we have a one platform, and on that platform, first we go for marriage, then we go for first child, then we go for multiple children, then we go for first child leave home, then last child leave home, then empty nest, जब सारे फैमिली के मेंबर्स बाहर चले जाते हैं, केवल पेरेंट्स बच जाते हैं, तो दैट इज कॉल्ड एम्प्टीनेस. नेस्ट, नेस्ट मीन्स घोंसला. नेस्ट, जब एक एक पक्षी होता है, उसके बच्चे होते हैं, एग्स होते हैं, बच्चे होते हैं, बच्चे बड़े हो गए, उड़ गए, तो उसके बाद खाली घोंसला बच जाता है वहां पे, दैट इज कॉल्ड एम्प्टी नेस्ट. सिमिलरली दिस एम्प्टी नेस्ट is applicable to the family where all the children went out for their job or professional assignments, only parents stay alone there in the nest. This is called empty nest. Then widowhood. Widowhood. One is to be expired there almost or both, whatever. Then termination. Then particular one family or one stage of family is to be terminated there. So these are the family life cycle and relationship of individual and family life cycle to age. एज के अकॉर्डिंग किस मेंबर का लाइफ साइकिल के अकॉर्डिंग फैमिली के साथ क्या रिलेशन होगा, दिस इज अनदर टेबल आई एम हैविंग. द रिलेशनशिप ऑफ इंडिविजुअल एंड फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल टू एज. पहला है एज 0 to 1 year, infancy and oral age, that is the stage, infancy and oral age of stage, that is called ट्रस्ट वर्सेस मिसट्रस्ट. एरिक्सन वाला कंसेप्ट बता रहा हूं. एरिक्सन स्टेजेस ऑफ सोशल डेवलपमेंट आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग. फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल यहाँ पे कुछ भी नहीं. इन्फेंसी पीरियड में कोई फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल नहीं है उसका अपना, बिकॉज दैट पार्ट ऑफ अनदर फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल, राइट. दैट इज ए पार्ट ऑफ अनदर फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल बिकॉज पेरेंट्स लाइफ साइकिल चल रहा है अभी हमारा. देन चाइल्डहुड, अर्ली एनल स्टेज, middle preschool, and late latency period. So this is another stage of Erikson social development, that is called autonomy versus doubt, initiative versus guilt, industry versus inferiority. In this stage, the child don't have any life cycle. Family life cycle nahi hai because still he or she is a part of another family life cycle. Then this age stay from 2 to 11 years. Childhood, early adult stage, middle preschool, and latency period. This stay from 2 to 11 years. Then 12 to 17 years, adolescence, early adolescence, mid adolescence, and late adolescence is almost 18 to 21 years of age. And इसमें जो एरिक्सन की जो स्टेज ऑफ डेवलपमेंट है, सोशल स्टेज ऑफ डेवलपमेंट है, दैट इज कॉल्ड आइडेंटिटी वर्सेस रोल कंफ्यूजन. एडोलेसेंस, अर्ली और मिड एडोलेसेंस, दे लॉस्ट देयर आइडेंटिटी. अगर एक एडोलेसेंस टीनेज बच्चा बच्चों में खेलता तो कहते तो बहुत बड़ा क्यों खेल रहे हैं यहाँ पे, बच्चों के साथ क्यों बैठा है, और वो बड़े लोगों में बैठेगा, सीनियर लोगों में कहेंगे तो बच्चे तो बच्चों में जाके बैठो, दैट इज आइडेंटिटी लॉस्ट. रोल कंफ्यूजन, उसका रोल खत्म हो जाता है, कंफ्यूज हो जाता है कि मैंने करना क्या है सोसाइटी में, वेयर आई एम एग्जिस्टिंग, रोल कंफ्यूजन होता है, रोल आइडेंटिटी क्लैश होता है उसका. दिस इज एरिक्सन स्टेज ऑफ डेवलपमेंट, सोशल डेवलपमेंट, कॉल्ड आइडेंटिटी वर्सेस role confusion. It's remain from 12 to 17 years or 12 to 21 years during late adolescence also. And there is a family life cycle start from here. That is, family life cycle start going steadily. Steady marriage, associated couple and the pregnancy. यहाँ पे एक लाइफ साइकिल स्टार्ट होता है हमारा एडोलिसेंस में. दैट इज अर्ली मिडल और लेट एडोलिसेंस में कहीं पे भी ये एक स्टेज हमारी लाइफ साइकिल स्टेज डेवलप हो सकती है. इससे पहले वी डोंट हैव एनी लाइफ साइकिल स्टेज. देन एडल्टहुड, it is almost 20 to 39 years, 22 to 39 years. Adulthood, early adulthood, living family transitions, the intimacy versus isolation. यहाँ पे एक इंटीमेसी डेवलप होती है with the partner, with the family members, and particularly we go for the family life cycle, that is first child, multiple child, and generativity versus stagnation. 39-40 years में आके एक स्टैग्नेशन फील करता है. इसके बाद मैंने क्या करना है, दैट इज कॉल्ड स्टैग्नेशन स्टेज एज पर एरिक्सन. और जनरलाइज कर देता है कि मैंने जो करना है वो मैंने कर लिया. व्हाट आई एम टू अटेन, आई अटेन दैट वन. दैट इज ए generalization. And in this stage, what is family life cycle? That is first child, we go for first child, that is a family life cycle, and then multiple children, and then first child leave home, first grandchild. So 40 to 59 years age, we have individual life cycle, that is called middle or midlife, that is called 50s transition. Midlife, यहाँ पे हमारा इंडिविजुअल ट्रांजिशन और इंडिविजुअल लाइफ स्टाइल नहीं है. लाइफ साइकिल यहाँ पे ईगो इंटेग्रिटी वर्सेस डिस्पेयर होता है. यहाँ पे ईगो बहुत क्रैश होता है, ईगो बहुत हर्ट होता है 50 ईयर्स में आके. बच्चे कहने लग जाते तूने क्या किया. एंड देन डिस्पेयर, डिसअपॉइंटमेंट होती है यहाँ पे. यार राइट. और डिसअपॉइंटमेंट के बाद हमारा जो फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल होता है, इंडिविजुअल लाइफ साइकिल तो हमारा कुछ नहीं है यहाँ पे, राइट. फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल में क्या होता है, लास्ट चाइल्ड leave home, multiple grandchildren. Multiple grandchildren are there and last children leave home. Then to 16 to 69, late age, that is called, कोई हमारे यहाँ पे कोई काम नहीं करते. 60 to 69 हम नॉन प्रोडक्टिव हो जाते. This is called a non productive age. The couple, what is the family life cycle here in 60 to 69 age? And family life cycle is the couple again, empty nest, widowhood. कपल है वो एक एम्प्टी नेस्ट में रहते हैं, खाली मकान में रहते हैं, बाकी कुछ भी नहीं, दो है सिर्फ. और या तो विडोहुड हो जाती है या फिर दोनों, राइट. 70s प्लस में ओल्ड एज आ जाता है हमारा. इंडिविजुअल लाइफ साइकिल क्या होगा, एडजस्टमेंट टू डेथ, राइट. लोग कहने लग जाते भगवान इसको उठा ले तो अच्छा हो जाए, राइट. और खुद भी कहने लग जाता है इंसान कि हे भगवान अब मुझे उठा लो, राइट. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड ओल्ड एज, एडजस्टमेंट टू डेथ. एक मेंटल प्रिपरेशन शुरू हो जाता है हमारा एंड ऑफ लाइफ का, राइट. एंड व्हाट इज द फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर एज एंड स्टेज ऑफ इंडिविजुअल लाइफ साइकिल. हमारा जो फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल यहाँ पे 70 प्लस में क्या होता है, टर्मिनेशन. वही टर्मिनेट द फैमिली. सारे परिवार छोड़ के ना, विडोहुड हो गया, अकेला फंस गया, तो फैमिली टर्मिनेट हो गया. आगे तो नॉन प्रोडक्टिव हो गया हूं मैं. फॉर एग्जांपल इन 70 प्लस में आई एम ए नॉन प्रोडक्टिव, एंड इफ नॉन प्रोडक्टिव आई एम नॉट प्रोड्यूसिंग एनीथिंग, सो ऑटोमेटिकली लाइफ साइकिल जो हमारा फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल है दैट विल बी टर्मिनेटेड, राइट. सो दीज आर द स्टेजेस इन टर्म्स ऑफ एडिक्शन, social development in relation to our life cycle, family life cycle, particularly with two contexts, individual life cycle and the family life cycle. So infancy, childhood, these are the two stages which are having only individual life cycle. They don't have family life cycle, right? So only adolescence, that is called early or middle or late adolescence, our family life cycle start. उससे पहले हमारा family life cycle नहीं होता. So developmental task is a task which arises or about a certain period in the life of an individual. every individual within the family, they have a developmental task, and that is to be happen at the individual level. Successful achievement of which leads to happiness and to success with later task. अगर सक्सेसफुली हम कुछ अटेन करते जाएंगे, right? So that generates happiness within the family life cycle. And if there is a failure है, it generates unhappiness in the individual as well as family life cycle. So the disapproval by society and difficulty with later task. अगर हम failure होते हैं, there will be a disapproval from the society. Society will not accept the failure, right? And if we fail, if we are facing a failure in our family life cycle at individual level, so the later task, बाद में जो हमने काम करने पड़ेंगे उस family life cycle में, that will become more difficult for us. So this development task concepts give rise to certain principles which may be listed. This developmental task है ना, developmental task means happiness or failure. For example, success and failure. If I am succeeded in my attainment of my individual success, so that give my happiness. If I am failure in attainment of my individual success or happiness or growth or development, that give me failure. And if I am a failure, family will not accept this one, the society will not accept this one. Being failure, I'll face a lot of difficulties for the forthcoming family life cycle stages. So there are certain principles. Number one, at each stage of the life cycle, everybody faces responsibilities and adjustment of maturation. पहला प्रिंसिपल है, हर एक स्टेज ऑफ लाइफ साइकिल पे प्रत्येक व्यक्ति कोई न कोई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी और समायोजन, उत्तरदायित्व या समायोजन जैसे जैसे मैच्योर होता जाएगा, जैसे बोला ना आपको मैंने स्टेजेस बताया एरिक्सन के कंपैरिजन में, इंडिविजुअल लाइफ साइकिल हमारा इन्फेंसी टू एडोलेसेंस होता है, इन्फेंसी चाइल्डहुड होता है, देयर इज नो फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल, right? So the development, this at each stage of the life cycle, everybody faces responsibilities and adjustment of maturation. Everybody is to adjust as per maturation. The second is the developmental task of any given period must be accomplished before going to the next level of maturation. एक पर्टिकुलर स्टेज का जो डेवलपमेंटल टास्क है ना, वो हमने नेक्स्ट लेवल ऑफ मैच्योरेशन, नेक्स्ट लेवल ऑफ फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल से पहले पहले उसको फिनिश करना है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, एक इन्फेंसी के बाद चाइल्डहुड आता है, अर्ली चाइल्डहुड में बच्चे को अर्ली चाइल्डहुड फिनिश करके, होम स्टे फिनिश करके स्कूल में भेजना ही भेजना है. उसका 24 आवर्स हमें होम स्टे फिनिश करना है, बिकॉज ही इज गोइंग टू एंटर न्यू स्टेज ऑफ लाइफ साइकिल और द न्यू स्टेज ऑफ डेवलपमेंट. So the second principle of this developmental concepts of life cycle, that the developmental task of any given period must be accomplished, must be attained before going on to the next level of maturation. Sorry. If the task not accomplished, not finished, not completed, the person or family is at a disadvantage at all subsequent level. अगर वो टास्क पर्टिकुलर एज के अकॉर्डिंग हमने फिनिश नहीं किया है, कंप्लीट नहीं किया है, सो पर्सनल और फैमिली लेवल पे हमारी आने वाली जो भी लेवल्स होंगे स्टेजेस ऑफ डेवलपमेंट के, उसमें हमें डिसएडवांटेजेस ही मिलेगा उसका. दैट विल नॉट बी सपोर्टिव टू द forthcoming developmental levels of stage of development, right? So number third, a very few development tasks can be mastered in isolation. Any developmental task, fourth principle of development within the life cycle of family life cycle, any development cannot be mastered, cannot be finished, cannot be attained in isolation, but are always influenced by the family, the structure and the society. The isolation may we cannot attain any development because all these developmental tasks are to be influenced by the family, subculture or the society. right? So we cannot attain any developmental task in absence of family, in absence of society, or in isolation. Next key point is no one else can accomplish these tasks for the individual. आपका टास्क है ना, उसको और कोई कंप्लीट नहीं कर सकता. आपने बचपन से बाहर निकलना तो आप ही बचपन से बाहर निकलो, नहीं निकलना चाहिए आपको. ये नहीं कि आपके बदले में आपके पेरेंट्स, आपके भाई बहन बचपन से बाहर निकले. आपने स्कूल ज्वाइन करना तो आपने ही करना है, आपके बदले में आपके मैं या फैमिली मेंबर्स या कोई ज्वाइन नहीं करेगा. सो दैट मीन्स नो वन एल्स कैन अकम्प्लिश दीज टास्क फॉर द इंडिविजुअल. सो कोई भी जो इंडिविजुअल पर्टिकुलर स्टेज में है, he or she is to accomplish, he or she is to complete, finish that particular task as per the cycle of stage. मैरिज होना है फैमिली में, टास्क आप कंप्लीट करना है मैरिज का. मैरिज जिसका होना उसी का होगा, उसके बदले में नहीं कि छोटे भाई का कर देंगे, छोटी बहन का कर देंगे, पापा कर दें, मम्मी कर दें, राइट? सो दैट इज every person who is in a particular stage is to accomplish the task of the respective age level of family life cycle. This is another key point of your family life cycle. Then the next key point of family life cycle is a parent, physician, or other provider who assists an individual family. The task is promoting individual and family development. Parents और कोई भी जो सपोर्ट करने, फिजिशियंस कोई भी है, कोई डिफिकल्टी आती है फिजिशियंस के पास जाते हैं, डिफिकल्टी आती है पेरेंट्स के पास जाते हैं. तो फिजिशियंस और द पेरेंट्स और द टीचर्स, दे हेल्प यू टू promote individual and family development, right? So these are the key points of your family life cycle. Each stage in the family life cycle has its own developmental phase, task, transition and crisis. हर फैमिली की डेवलपमेंट जो लाइफ साइकिल में हो रहा है, हर एक का अपना एक टास्क है, एक ट्रांजिशन है, एक क्राइसिस है, और so many. It's all physiology, pathology, and behavioral characteristics, right? So this is about your key points of your family life cycle. Family life cycle, we start from newly married stage. Newly married stage हमारा कोई फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल नहीं, क्योंकि हमने एक नया फैमिली, इंडिविजुअल लाइफ साइकिल है, फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल अभी स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ. ए न्यूली मैरिड स्टेज, राइट? न्यूली मैरिड में सो हमारा फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल नहीं होता, इंडिविजुअल लाइफ साइकिल होता है. देन यूथफुल मैरिज ऑलमोस्ट 20 to 40 ईयर्स होता है, राइट? उसके बाद हमारा लाइफ साइकिल कहाँ स्टार्ट होता है? अर्ली पेरेंटहुड स्टेज, वेडिंग, राइट? वेडिंग के बाद बर्थ ऑफ फर्स्ट चाइल्ड, यहाँ पे हमारा लाइफ साइकिल स्टार्ट होता है. देन लेटर पेरेंटहुड स्टेज, दैट मीन्स मिडल एज, or later this emptiness stage, last child leave the home, right? And then retirement stage, retire from the career, professional ending, and finally death of spouse. These are the family life cycle. We started one family life cycle from the newly married stage, right? Newly married stage, so we started the family life and we don't have any life cycle there. Then early parenthood stage, we started one life cycle stage. So family life cycle I'm explaining, Swati ji I'm repeating. So family life cycle, that means I'm starting a family life cycle from, जैसे मैंने आपको एरिक्सन वाला एग्जांपल दिया था ना, इन्फेंसी और अर्ली चाइल्डहुड में वी डोंट हैव एनी फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल, इंडिविजुअल लाइफ साइकिल होता है हमारा, राइट? यहाँ पे हमने फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल हम स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल बता रहा हूँ मैं, हम ना फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं न्यूली मैरिड स्टेज से, क्योंकि एक फैमिली वहीं से स्टार्ट होगा. उससे पहले तो हमें और किसी फैमिली के मेंबर है ना. न्यूली मैरिड स्टेज, राइट? न्यूली मैरिड स्टेज से वी आर स्टार्टिंग ए न्यू फैमिली. So then family life cycle will start from the newly married stage, followed by early parenthood stage. This is the beginning of our early parenthood stage, the beginning of our life cycle, family life cycle. Before marriage, we are the part of another family life cycle, parental family life cycle. Am I right? When we become young adult, we are going to marriage, and as a marriage, we are going to join our new family life cycle. Clear? So that is early parenthood stage is birth of first child. That is our family life cycle begin, right? Then later parenthood stage, older child जो सबसे बाद में जो बच्चा second child become adolescent. Empty nest सब बच्चे परिवार छोड़ जाते हैं. Then the retirement age, retirement from the professional or the career. Then the death of spouse, that is the termination of your family life cycle. हमारा मैरिज से स्टार्ट होता है फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल और डेथ ऑफ स्पाउस पे हम टर्मिनेट कर देते. क्लियर? सो देन psychosocial issues in middle and old age family life cycle. Middle issues or middle age, physical and social change during middle life. मिड लाइफ जैसे हमने एक अडोलिसेंस बोला है ना, अडोलिसेंस वर्ड होता है, ऐसे ही मिडोलिसेंस होता है. अडोलिसेंस एंड मिडोलिसेंस, MIDOLESCENCE, midolescence. And midolescence word is given by Newgarten. मिडोलिसेंस, एडोलिसेंस एक वर्ड होता है, ऐसे ही हमारा एक मिडोलिसेंस भी वर्ड होता है. ADOLESCENC, adolescence. Similar to in the middle age, we have a midolescence, and the midolescence spelling MIDOLESCENCE. एडो की बजाय मिडो कर दो, बाकी बराबर रहेगा adolescence midolescence. This was given by Newgarten, NEUGARTEN. मिडल एज में आके मिडोलिसेंस होता है हमारा. Newgarten 1968. He was one of the earliest theorists to study middle life. He was the earliest person who studies about the middle life issues. And स्टॉक टेकिंग, मिडल लाइफ में हमारा जो कंसेप्ट मिडोलिसेंस में जो होता है, स्टॉक टेकिंग होता है, जोड़ना शुरू कर देते हैं मिडल एज में, राइट? दैट इज कॉल्ड स्टॉक टेकिंग. एंड इंक्रीज रिफ्लेक्शंस ड्यूरिंग मिडल एज. मिडल एज में आपका मैक्सिमम रिफ्लेक्शंस आ जाता है, करियर में, पर्सनल में, फैमिली में, सोशल में. आपने जो बनना था बन जाते, जो करना था वो शुरू कर देते हो आप. दैट इज द मैक्सिमम रिफ्लेक्शन स्टार्ट्स इन योर मिडल एज, एंड यू स्टार्ट फॉर स्टॉक टेकिंग. जोड़ना शुरू कर देते हैं कि मेरी भी फैमिली होगी, मैं जोड़ना शुरू करूँ मिडल एज, और मेरी फैमिली उसके काम आएगा, मैं जोड़ना शुरू. देयर इज आल्सो ए न्यू परसेप्शन टाइम, दैट इज सेल्फ एंड डेथ. यहाँ पे हम सेल्फ एंड डेथ की परसेप्शन एक शुरू हो जाती है हमारे अंदर मिडल एज में आके, कि सेल्फ मैं हूं, मैंने ही करना है जो कुछ करना है. दैट इज कॉल्ड सेल्फ एट द मिडल एज. एंड डेथ, दैट इज ए कंसेप्ट आफ्टर मिडल एज. आई एम टू लीडिंग टू टर्मिनेशन ऑफ माई लाइफ. Right? This is a psychosocial issues in your middle age and old age. Middle age or old age में concept होता है particularly for female. This is called menopause. A significant feature for physiological change takes place in women. Right? So then we have empty nest syndrome. Empty nest, NEST syndrome. Right? It is particularly a problem for the parents to feel empty nest syndrome, right? All left. Children move out of houses as adult. Women will suffer a crisis. Particularly women remain more suffer, right? Then called next stage or the psychological changes, psychosocial changes, that is called sandwich generation. Sandwich generation is called middle age or called the sandwich generation. मिडिल एज को हम सैंडविच मिडोलिसेंस भी बोल देते हैं, और इसको सैंडविच जनरेशन भी बोलते हैं। अराउंड 40s वो caught between the demand of children and the older parents. अराउंड 40s में सैंडविच बन के रह जाते हैं, बिकॉज बच्चों की भी डिमांड पूरी करनी, बच्चों की भी सुननी और माँ बाप की भी सुननी, राइट? सो दिस इज कॉल्ड मिडल एज. So relationship with the aging parents. Due to the dramatic increased life expectancy, many middle-aged adults providing care for adult parents. जो मिडल एज में जब हो जाते हैं तो हमारा पेरेंटल केयरिंग का एक कंसेप्ट स्टार्ट हो जाता है. There are some people who are not bothering about this parental caring, and there are some parents who are bothering about this care, right? And then मिडिल एज के बाद एक लेटर लाइफ शुरू होता है हमारा फैमिली लाइफ साइकिल में, और लेटर लाइफ में हम क्या आते हैं जाके रिटायरमेंट, एग्जिट फ्रॉम वर्क फोर्स, राइट, नॉन प्रोडक्टिव, राइट. रिटायरमेंट के बाद क्या आता है हमारा विडोहुड, विडोहुड, राइट. सो लूजिंग स्पाउस इज ए मेजर इवेंट इन लेटर लाइफ. इसके लेटर लाइफ के बाद क्या आता है ग्रैंड पेरेंटहुड, राइट. एंड ग्रैंड पेरेंटहुड के बाद क्या आता है सक्सेसफुल एजिंग और द ग्रेसफुल एजिंग और सक्सेसफुल एजिंग. दिस particularly successful aging as per Rowe and Kahan, ROWE, Rowe and Kahan, KAHN, 1997. They have given three components of successful aging, graceful aging. Number one, low probability of disease or disability. अगर हमारे अंदर सक्सेसफुल एजिंग और ग्रेसफुल एजिंग तभी पॉसिबल होगा जब हमारे अंदर लो प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ डिजीज और डिसेबिलिटी पॉसिबल हो. Successful aging is only possible when we have a low possibility of disease and disability. Otherwise, we cannot enjoy successful or healthy aging. Second, high cognitive and physical functions capacity. अगर हम 70s प्लस में जाके हमारे अंदर लो प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ डिजीज और डिसेबिलिटी होगा, हाई कॉग्निटिव फिजिकल फंक्शन एबिलिटी होगा, so we can call a successful aging person, healthy aging person. The next, active engagement with life. हम चुपचाप सरेंडर करके घर नहीं बैठेंगे. If you are actively engaged in your life, then there will be a successful aging or healthy aging. अगर ये तीनों नहीं है हमारे पास हमारे पास we have a lot of attack on disease and ability, we have poor cognitive and physical functions, and we are inactive about engagement with life during 70 plus age, so we cannot enjoy our successful or healthy age, right? That is called optimal aging or successful aging, healthy age. So these are the life cycle stages of your of time. Almost मेरा finish हो गया. We have a lot of things to discuss, right? So I am finished about my life cycle family 2. Now you can ask questions if you have any.
So you told me to send me that page. After filling that page, I'll send you, और खाली पेज में मैं आपको भेज सकती हूँ. आप टाइम
खाली पेज भेजो या भर के भेजो, आपने जब सबमिट करेंगे उसमें इंफॉर्मेशन पूरी होनी चाहिए.
और सर जब फाइल सारी बन जाएगी जिसके साथ मैं अटैच करूंगी तो वो फाइल आपको ही सेंड करनी है?
नो 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 नो, फाइल फाइनली आप इग्नू रीजनल सेंटर में सबमिट करेंगे, उसका ईमेल दिया हुआ है, वो सर आपसे शेयर कर देंगे.
वो आरसी चंडीगढ़ में है ना? हेलो.
हाँ जी, यस यस. हेलो.
Hello.
हाँ जी किरण जी.
Yes, sir. Very good morning. Thank you so much for the lecture. Although I am from the MSc program, but I am just loving all the lectures. It's just going over the same things again. So I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And this family life cycle you explained was just absolutely beautifully done to the end. I was stuck at generativity versus stagnation, but I waited for you to finish your lecture, and I think I got all my pointers which were confusing. I got them all clear. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it.
You from our center?
Yes, sir. I am very much. I have joined the
I think you
MSc.
are joined doing classes also sometime, na? I think.
This is my third lecture.
No. You never join any class in 46?
Yes, sir. I used to come.
Yeah, that's why I recognized your voice.
All right, sir. Sir, thank you so much. I did the same things in my diploma course, but it was going over through your experience and your knowledge. I mean, I'm getting more, to know more and more. Really, this
Good,
Erickson's theory was one of my favorite,
good.
and
Go ahead.
I loved it. Thank you so much, sir.
You are developing as per distance development. Almost socially, you are developing accordingly. Good,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
good.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
सुरेश गोयल जी नमस्कार. सुरेश गोयल जी आपका माइक काम नहीं कर रहा है.
Sir, it's not Suresh Goyal. It's just I don't know ये क्यों Suresh Goyal show हो जाता है. I'm just Lean or Nanda.
I don't know the name is Suresh Goyal. Anyway, please go ahead.
हाँ ये फिर वो मुझे प्रैक्टिकल का ही थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन थी, तो वो गाइडलाइंस के अकॉर्डिंग मैं बना दूंगी. वो एक पेज आपको मैंने सेंड करना है जो आप साइन करके मुझे भेजोगे, और प्रैक्टिकल फाइल बनाकर वो मैंने आरसी चंडीगढ़ को भेजना है. मुझे यही डाउट था बस.
देखिए पे एक साइन नहीं है, उसमें कुछ साइन की कुछ पेजेस हैं, इसमें हम नंबर भी लगाएंगे. हमारे लेवल पे जो असेसमेंट होगा उसके नंबर भी लगेंगे, साइन भी होगा. वो पेज आपने भेजना.
कौन कौन सा पेज भेजना है सर, प्लीज मुझे बता दीजिए.
मुझे पेज नंबर याद नहीं, आप चेक करेंगे. हर प्रैक्टिकल सब पेज नंबर है, जिनके नंबर हम नंबर भी लगाएंगे, और उसको ग्रेडेशन भी होती है, नंबर भी होते हैं, फिर हमारे सिग्नेचर भी होती है. वो पेज भेजना आप.
वो सारे सर पेज आपको भेजने हैं?
हाँ जी, वर्ड फाइल में.
Can anybody tell me that number?
प्रिय विद्यार्थी, आप खुद भी अध्ययन करें. अगर आप सभी चीजें दूसरों से पूछते रहेंगे तो कैसे काम चलेगा. आप अपनी थोड़ी सी स्टडी करें. जो पेज है आपको लगता है कि उसके ऊपर लिखा होता है कि ये काउंसलर ने साइन करने हैं या इवेलुएटर ने साइन करने हैं, थोड़ा स्टडी करें उसको.
ओके सर.
ठीक है डॉक्टर साहब, थैंक यू.
ओके.
Sir, I have a doubt. I was asking, will you give me a little bit opportunity, privilege to ask?
Now your voice is not clear.
Is it not clear?
Right now
Yes, sir. Am I
it is
audible?
clear now. It is clear now.
Yes. First, I'd like to say thanks a lot for this wonderful session, and it is really enriching for me. And my question was regarding from the first part of your lecture, it was family environment, how affects Freud's psychosocial development. Suppose a person is not getting a proper family environment, it is a disturbed family, then how it is affecting their ego, ID and superego, and it affects their adulthood. Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye bye. We'll discussion about practical performing next class में discuss करेंगे. Next class we will discuss about this practical performance.
Okay, doctor. Okay,
Okay,
thank
sir.
you.
Bye bye.